Hi, and welcome to Fawn Porter's Freeform Block of the Month, featuring Paintbrush Studios fabrics. Love working with these, love working with all the exciting textures and the variety of colors. Very, very fun. I am your host, Jenny K. Parks. If you want to know more about me, you can check out my website, Facebook, and YouTube under Jenny K. Quilts. All right, today we're going to make a concentric square block. It's a very simple, straightforward block, but I want to show you how all the steps that you need to make it go together. I know I've been quilting for some time, and I can look at a block and I can say, oh, this is how it goes together, and I can do that. But a lot of people still have difficulty spotting the block, especially if you're newer, knowing what the block is and how it's going to go together. So I'm just going to go through the whole thing step by step, and you're going to see me. It's kind of like a sew along. We're going to go through the whole process together. All right, so put that off to the side. Here are all the little parts to make this one. First, we have our center. And this block is a variation of a log cabin. It's called the courthouse steps variation, where you kind of move up to the center. It's kind of courthouse steps. But that's the same technique that we're going to use to put this all together. Those on the side, above and below. Then we have this side, and above and below. Voila. It's pretty simple, but let's put it together. I love especially balancing something with a lot of curve piecing and something that's really technical with something that is more simple, and you don't really have to think about it too much to do it. You can just work through step by step. I am also a big fan of laying everything out just like this so I can see it. And if I was doing this at home and I had all the stacks, right, I was going to do all the blocks, I'd have all the pieces cut, I would lay them all out on top of each other and then take these two stacks, bring them over by my machine, and just continue to sew these together till I have all these together and then move on. It's assembly line sewing, so I'm going to sew this one for block 1, and then another set for block 2 and 3, and just slide it under, continuing to sew in the same way, that same unit together. I think it goes a lot more quickly when you do that. I would not try to build this whole block in just one, like doing one and pressing it like we're doing now. I would assembly line sew everything for it. Now I'm going to press everything away from the center. I think in this kind of block that works best. But if my second circle instead of this green was, say it was white, then I might press in the other direction for fear that the fabric the seam allowance would show through. And we want to avoid that. All right, so here we have this one. Let's put that guy together. And I think that's one of the things I love about quilting, because it uses so many classic blocks. When you know how they go together and you know why they work that way, then you can change it and make your block whatever you want it to be. And you can mix it up. Say if we wanted to change it all together and we wanted to switch out these guys, we could if we wanted to. All right, but let me finish this one here. There, and I'm going to press it again away from the center. As with all of these, be very careful that, well, for one, that you have an accurate 1/4 inch seam. This is a good one to verify that with. But also that when you're pressing, you're not pressing in any folds or creating any other problems. There I go. Okay, I just wanted to double check that I didn't press the right way. Okay. Let's just fold down the top one. And then I'm going to sew it with my little seams up because I want to make sure I don't fold them over as I go. Sometimes those rascally little fellas, they get away from me. Here we are again, and press towards the outside. I like to heat up the seam. I think I do a better job pressing when I do that. All right, and see how it's coming together. I remember when I first started quilting and I would lay out something like this, and wait, it won't all fit. It's the wrong sizes. What did I do wrong? But then I forgot, oh yeah, the seam allowance. Calculate the seam allowance in what you're looking at there. Bring the bottom up, and again, I'm gonna sew where I can see the seams. And if you have any issues mastering that 1/4 inch seam, this is a great way to test it and try to figure it out. Heat that up a little bit there. Press that open. I'm going to cut off some of these red threads because they're starting to bug me. There we go. Okay, here we are again. So the ones that I need to add now are the sides. I bring the sides in. You could also do this in strips. So say, for example, I have this here. Say that's a really long strip, just to give you an idea. And then I would put this down on top of it. And then where the next one was, imagine the strip continues, right? Where the next one is, I lay it down like that and continue sewing with those large strips. That's another way to do it. Okay, let me lay it out, make sure I'm doing it the right way. Okay, this guy here. This is also one of those blocks that is great for using up scraps because you could use all different colors. You could make every piece in here to be a different color. You could completely change the arrangement. I could have the dark green on the inside, the white as the second one, then the dots as the outer one, or I could switch it around and have the dots on the inside and the light blue on the outside, whatever you want. This is one of those things you can just let your imagination go. And you could just sit down and do it. If you have strips, a whole bunch of strips that are cut to the right amount, you could just sit down and crank these out. Oh, so fun. I love doing that. I love things where you can just make a whole bunch of them. Press. Beautiful. I just love watching a block come together. It seems to come alive under your machine.